Hi, my name is Ethan Minke. I'm a PhD student in the UGA soybean breeding lab, and I'm here today to talk to you about our SP20 Almaco plot combine. It's kind of the standard plot combine used in our industry. It's probably one of the leading sales as far as we go. So we're going to just kind of do a basic walk around of how it works and its purpose on the farm. So we'll start at the front of the machine where the crop goes in. We have a row crop header. So as I said, we work on soybeans. So as we're going down the field, the soybeans will enter one of these two sides of this V, and then the header will actually catch it, cut it, and drag it up into the combine. And we'll zoom in and show you where the soybeans actually get caught in this header. So inside of the snout, there's some rubber belts, and we'll try to get a little better view in the sun so you can see the rubber belts that actually catch the crop and pull it up into the machine. And then there's a cutter underneath you can kind of see down in here, these rubber belts pinch the soybean stalks between the two of them, and then there's a set of knives underneath that actually cut the stem off from the ground. And then as the combine's running, these chains pull the soybean stalk back up into the feeder house belt, which is right here. And then as the crop falls, it's carried up, and this is a top belt that just kind of helps keep the crop tight onto this belt as it feeds in to what we can see here is actually called the cylinder, and this is what does the actual threshing of the soybean out of the soybean pod and allows the combine to separate the grain from the chaff. That safety cover is actually closed, so you can't, like it says, lots of spinning parts, and you don't want anybody's hand to get caught in there. But for our view, if you want to see it, so it spins, if we can make it spin, it's kind of tight, and then it beats the soybeans onto what we call this cylinder or concave down here, which is just really heavy metal grating that actually when the soybeans are hit by the rotor into it, it causes the soybeans to pop out, and then you just are left with the actual soybean seed, and then the chaff and straw is left behind. So we'll move to the back. So this is just kind of a side view of that whole apparatus, all the drive lines, and then we'll look at the back, and we can kind of see from the back side of what happens after the grain goes through the rotor. So now we're just on the back side of our combine. I've opened up the back viewing panel, and we can see that we have sieves, which is this part right here, this portion, which is a sieve table. And as the chaff comes up, it's shaking and the chaff falls out, but the soybeans do fall through these little grates into another set of sieves. And if you look closely to the front of the combine, you can see the back side of the rotor and the concave where it's dumping soybeans from the front of the machine into the sieve house, into the shaker house to sieve out the soybeans from the chaff. And as I said, there's a second set of sieves underneath the top set that takes the even smaller pieces of debris out and leaves just the soybeans, and end up on what we call underneath this bottom set of sieves, and end up what we call the clean grain table, which is just a conveyor belt, as you can see here, that leads down into a vacuum system that takes the soybeans up to the top of the combine. Once the soybeans have traveled through onto the clean grain belt, they end up falling into this trough, which is a clean grain elevator, as they would say. Our combine uses a vacuum system to pull the grain up. Commercial combines use an auger, but it's the same premise that the clean grain falls down, and then it is transported up into this tube, which as we can follow, continues up. And for us, when we're cutting plots, we divert this seed into this tube, which goes up into our Almaco weight system, and we'll go up and take a closer look at that.